Hello, ma'am. Welcome.
Today, veteran Sri Lankan cricketer T.M. Dilshan, accompanied by his wife, visited our newsroom not to talk about cricket, but about humanity.
We will have all the details later on in the news. Before that, here is a look at the headlines.
71st session of the United Nations General Assembly underway. President to address General Assembly early tomorrow morning. Handapanagal irrigation tank emptied for the Umayo project. Over 10 villagers face the threat of wild elephants. Yoshita and grandmother fails to turn up at the Mount Lavinia land survey. Education Minister firm on the GMOA request for popular schools.
දෙවිවරු වගේ ඉන්න වෛද්‍යවරුන්ගේ කීර්ති නාමය මේ රජයේ වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සංගම විසින් කෙලසෙන එකට අපිට කනගාටුයි.
Finance Minister hints at budget contents.
එදා තමයි මේ අය හොල්මන් වෙන්නේ කොහොමද මේ බංකොලොත් වෙලා තියෙනවා කියපු රටක් කොහොමද අපි ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නේ කියලා.
Parliament greenlight supplementary estimate for the Ministry of Regional Development.
The Sustainable Development Goals, a universal push to transform our world, has been proposed as a theme for the Assembly's general debate. Newsfirst Shami Razuddin reports from New York.
The 71st sessions of the United Nations General Assembly began today at 6 p.m. Sri Lankan time with approximately 120 plus heads of states. Representatives of 193 countries are attending today's session, including the President of Sri Lanka, Maithripala Sirisena. Minister of Foreign Affairs Mangal Samarveera, Faiza Mustafa, Arjuna Ranatunga and Gayanth Karunathilaka are among the ministers accompanying the President. Foreign Minister Mangal Samarveera was holding bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the UNGA. It's the world's toughest to-do list. Stop violent extremism, solve the worst global refugee crisis in quarter century, foster peace in the ravaged Middle East, and in the meantime, work to end poverty, disease, hunger, and the threat of nuclear weapons. That's the agenda, as more than 120 heads of states and government who have arrived in New York for the annual United Nations General Assembly. The UN will mark its own endings too, as both President Barack Obama and UN General Secretary Ban Ki-moon attended for the last time in their current capacities. President Barack Obama was in the city last evening to hold emergency meetings with his counterparts to discuss many issues that concern the United States. Security has been beefed up in the city of New York following the explosion that was reported on Saturday.
The 71st sessions of the United Nations General Assembly began this morning right here at the United Nations headquarters in New York. President Maithripala Sirisena was received by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Incidentally, this is the last time that United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon as well as US President Barack Obama would be addressing a UN General Assembly. President Maithripala Sirisena would be addressing the United Nations General Assembly sessions tomorrow at around 3:45 p.m. New York time. That is 1 a.m. on Thursday morning Sri Lankan time. Now, Newsfirst, of course, will keep our viewers fully up to date on all the developments that would unfold as far as the UN General Assembly is concerned. Now, opening today's session was the UN General Assembly President, and then spoke the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Then was the representative of Brazil, President Barack Obama, also addressed the United Nations General Assembly sessions right here at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The focus of the international community this time around is the Syrian conflict, the Syrian refugee crisis, the Zika virus plaguing the African region, as well as human rights across the world, in particular Asia. Now, Newsfirst, of course, will keep our viewers constantly up to date on all the developments that will unfold. I'm Shami Rasoolian reporting for Newsfirst from the United Nations headquarters in New York, USA.
United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon opened the general debate of the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly.
The 2030 Agenda has given us renewed impetus to improve coherence and effectiveness, and the high-level political forum has taken its place as the central platform for global follow-up and review. To achieve our goals, we all need to follow up on this transformational commitment to a better future. We must all act and we must all be accountable. The SDGs are comprehensive, interconnected, and universal. We are all stakeholders in a collective enterprise to eradicate poverty, build a sustainable world, and leave no one behind. We have no time to waste. Excellencies, gentlemen, let us commit today and every day to work without rest for peace, prosperity, dignity, and opportunity for all on a healthy planet.
The individual who evaded police arrest in Kudagama, Visavella and was hospitalized after jumping into the Kalani River succumbed this morning. He jumped into the river during a raid carried out by the Police Special Task Force.
The police STF conducted this raid on a group of persons who were engaged in illegal mining and extraction in the Kalani River. The suspect, who attempted to flee the location, later jumped into the Kalani River. Later, together with the assistance of the area residents, he was admitted to the Abhisabila hospital.
The police didn't allow us to rescue him. They chased him with poles. He drowned right in front of our own eyes.
I shouted saying that someone was drowning when a miner attempted to rescue the person. An STF officer said that if he rescued him, that he would be shot. Yesterday he went to bathe with his friends and they later went to visit the site. When they saw the police, they fled the scene owing to the fear. We went for their rescue.
When contacted, the Police Special Task Force said that they inquire into a missing individual after those arrested informed them of another missing person. The STF adds that its personnel moved to rescue the individual with the assistance of the locals. The STF points out that as it continues to prevent such rackets from taking place in the Kalani River, persons level false allegations against them. Meanwhile, according to our correspondent, the area residents had attempted to protest against the STF. However, the police had obtained a court order to prevent the protest.
Minister of Law and Order and Southern Development Sagala Ratnayaka said in Parliament today that CCTV cameras will be installed inside holding cells of police stations. The minister made this statement in response to a question raised over the death of a youth while in custody of the Pusellava police.
As the police is to safeguard the life of a person who has been taken into police custody, I would like to see clarification whether the government is taking measures through the law against those responsible. While the case is to be heard at the Gampolo Magistrates Court on the 23rd of September 2016, the government judicial medical officer has ordered for the Peradeniya hospital to conduct a post-mortem examination and submitted a report in that regard. Hence, an open verdict has been issued on the post-mortem examination. I have issued an order to look into the legal background for the installation of CCTV camera systems in holding cells at all police stations and make arrangements to request for the required financial allocations for this purpose. If a person who is finding it difficult to breathe is brought in, the police is responsible for that person's life. The government also remains extremely disappointed about this matter. I have very clearly clarified that we will take responsibility. There are shortcomings and the required measures have been taken. What more can I say, Honourable Speaker?
Over the past few days, Newsfirst uncovered the plight of those who are suffering from the dry weather conditions. Today, we uncover the crisis faced by the wild animals.
The bank of the Handapanagala tank is an area constantly roamed by wild elephants. When night falls, wild elephants embark upon this tank in search of food and water. The Handapanagala tank is the only location where there is an abundant amount of water in Vallavaya, which is known for its dry, arid conditions. However, the tank, which is a part of the Umaoya multipurpose project, has now been drained empty for development activities. Losing their only source of water amidst the crisis of a drought has led the wild elephants to stray into villages in search for food and water. This is a violent behavior seen among the wild elephant population prevalent in the area. cultivations and property of nearly 10 villages situated close to the Handapanagala tank have been destroyed by wild elephants. The partially constructed electric fence which has been set up around the Thabova Reserve has caused severe discomfort among the locals in the vicinity. According to locals in the area, the electric fence has been set up bordering several villages including Karuwala Gaswaba, while the elephants are within the boundaries of the villages. Even though the plan of the fence shows that elephants cannot stray into the villages from the forest, it appears that the elephants require minimum effort to dismantle the fence. Therefore, the wild elephants who constantly break down the electric fences roam into human habitats with much ease.
ජනමාන පිනවන දවස සක්විති ටීවී එකමය සිරස එක්කර තෙරුවන් ආසිරි දිවැස දක්වමි හද පිරි තුතිමල් මෙලෙස.
What you witnessed were the sentiments expressed by the chief incumbent of the Samudrasani temple in Kandakulia. Taking forward the undying human spirit, another project was launched under the Newsfirst Gum at the 100 Days Initiative.
The Gum at the 100-Day Initiative. With the people, for the people.
This was the only community hall used by the residents of Kandakulia, which comes under the purview of the Kalpiti Divisional Secretariat. The community hall, which is used by the Rural Development Society, funeral donation societies and for vaccination purposes, is today in a dilapidated state. No attention was drawn towards the renovation of this community hall for the past 20 years. However, through the Gum at the 100-Day Initiative, we took the leadership to renovate this community hall.
We only see public representatives who are elected to Parliament or the Pradesh Sabha when the next elections are drawing closer. However, they do not heed our request. We are back to where we started from. However, it is the very persons who were elected through our votes who get rattled because of the Gum at the Initiative. Do not ever think that just because you are born in Kandakulia, you will never be able to reach great heights in life. The next president of the country may be here right now. No matter what problems you face, please educate your children. We need to create a future for this nation who will understand and respect each and everyone despite of racial differences. From one side, while we develop the nation, from the other side, we need to look into the future of the nation. While undertaking projects to uplift the livelihoods of rural communities across the country, the Gum at the project is also embedding in the people a sense of community and social responsibility through the establishment of the Gum at the Savia community organizations.
Through this, we hope to further strengthen the youth of this village for a better tomorrow and aid them to develop their capabilities. Let's gather around as one and discuss our issues and find solutions for these issues to take this village to a better level.
The renovation of this community hall too will see completion very soon, bringing new meaning to the lives of senior citizens, renewed energy for the youth, trust for the women and a bright future for the children. The Gum at the 100 Days Initiative continues to blaze a trail of progress in public service.
The Gum at the 100-Day Initiative. With the people, for the people.
People from different walks of life have come forward to support the Newsfirst Gum at the 100 Days Initiative. Today, veteran Sri Lankan cricketer T.M. Dilshan stepped into the Newsfirst newsroom to extend his assistance to the Gum at the Initiative.
Then
You are free now. What made you both join us and the Gammadda initiative?
Gammadda is indeed an excellent initiative. You visit villages and inquire into the unresolved issues that the villagers face and discuss those matters. This is the time we need to fulfill their needs. After my retirement from cricket, I am free now. I believe that there are persons in those villages who have cheered for me. Now I have time to serve. Therefore, I thought that I must be involved with the Gammadda initiative and assist those innocent people.
This is a time where the haves must come forward on behalf of the have-nots. If we can do something good for another, this is what humanity is all about.
What are your suggestions for this initiative to move forward?
I saw from this program how children face challenges in going to school simply due to the absence of a bridge. If we can renovate a road for the innocent children of this country, together, many future personnel will be created.
People from distant villages emptied their tills and donated their funds. What matters to us is not the money. You are a wife and a mother. What are your thoughts?
As mothers, we must create the future of our children from home. If we create an environment of love at home, those who will move into society will also be lovable characters. If we raise compassionate children, there will be a better country.
Our objective is to bring light to the lives living in darkness. That is Gammadda, with the people, for the people.
The monthly session of the Western Provincial Council was tense yet again.
Minister Lalit Ellawela protested against Provincial Minister of Education Ranjit Somawangsa.
No matter how many times this has been spoken of in the council, it doesn't seem like it will be corrected. When we present the problems faced by the public, I myself have personally spoken with the minister, but there are no solutions that we could inform the public of. If they can't do it, they must send a letter saying it cannot be done. They don't take anything we say seriously. Chairman sir, I'm totally against this.
Out of the 62 sessions of the Western Provincial Council, 12 were postponed due to the lack of quorum. MP Upul Mahendra expressed his displeasure over this situation.
All our expectations have been destroyed. Our confidence and honor has been eroded. We have become invalid in eyes of the villagers. It is a sad situation. What has this provincial council been able to do about eradicating narcotics? We discussed, but we are able to do nothing about it. We spoke about bringing back the gallows, but were we able to do it? We simply exchanged views. We didn't understand the role of the council. We have no way of voicing our concerns because we have to wait for months until the required quorum is in place.
Due to the absence of Yoshitha Rajapaksa and his grandmother Desi Forest, the survey that was due to be conducted today on a plot of land in Mount Lavinia could not take place. Police said that details on this issue will be presented to court tomorrow.
As per the order issued by the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court on the 15th of this month to conduct a survey on a 60 perch land in Mihinda Mawatha, officials of the Survey Department and the FCID arrived at the location at 9:30 this morning. Investigations into the acquisition of the plot of land commenced when the source of funds for the purchase could not be traced. Although the officials of the FCID and the Survey Department remained at the property until 11:30 am, neither Yoshitha Rajapaksa nor his grandmother showed up. Yoshitha Rajapaksa, who was not present to assist with the surveying of the property, was later seen at the Colombo High Court this afternoon to request permission to travel overseas. Counsel for Yoshitha Rajapaksa informed court that their client wished to travel overseas for medical treatment. However, the country to which Yoshitha Rajapaksa intended travelling to was not clearly disclosed to court. The matter will be taken up on the 22nd for consideration.
Courts today deliberated on several transactions said to have taken place under the previous administration.
The Bribery Commission filed an application at the High Court seeking to revise the order by the Colombo Chief Magistrate to grant bail to Chairman of Avantgarde Nisanka Senadipati and Palita Fernando. Attorneys at law appearing on behalf of the suspect said that reasons for granting bail should be considered before issuing notices. High Court Judge MCDS Moraes said that this situation would not arise as notices have not been issued as yet. The judge informed to file objections on or before the 17th of October when the case will be taken up once again. Former parliamentarian Sergeant Divas Gunawardena was granted bail today in the Mihin Lanka case. Gunawardena was charged with providing a tender to a separate company while serving in Mihin Lanka, causing an 883 million rupee loss to the government. The bail conditions imposed by the Colombo Chief Magistrate were a cash bail of 250,000 rupees and 4 surety bails of 10 million rupees each. The case was postponed to the 4th of October. Lalit Virutunga, who is the former secretary to the former president and former director general of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission Anusha Palpita, appeared before the Colombo High Court today. This was in connection with the case filed over the alleged distribution of silk cloth worth 600 million rupees in the run-up to the presidential election. The case was postponed to the 28th of this month.
The supplementary estimate for 592,925,000 rupees to cover up the expenses of the Minister of Regional Development under Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca was approved in Parliament today.
Also in Parliament today, Minister of Education Akila Viraj Kariwasam criticized the demonstration by Government Medical Officers Association at the Ministry of Education recently.
We have evidence of the conduct of the Government Medical Officers Association, including Navin D'Souza and Nalin Herath, on threatening and assaulting the Civil Defence Force personnel deployed for the security of the ministry. We have the responsibility of considering the reasonable requests made by any official who makes a visit along with the required documentation. We will not show any special treatment for the Government Medical Officers Association. 110 doctors' children have been given schools. I was informed by the officials that these doctors had refused to accept the schools proposed by the Ministry of Education and had even walked off from discussions. I must remind you this. We created good governance and not a governance that would work for the whims and fancies of the doctors. What is humorous is that they had suggested 3 schools in their preferred order. This document will reveal the true nature of these persons who continuously claim that they did not request Royal College for their child. 21 persons who are engaged in the struggle for grade 1 admissions have requested for Royal College. The secondary option of 16 of them is Anand College, Colombo. If you take girls' schools, 15 have requested for Visakha Vidyalaya. 12 have requested for Sirimao Bandaranaika Vidyalaya. This is only for grade 1. Next comes the other grades. They have made a request from the Ministry of Education to admit 12 students to Royal College for the year 2016. In addition, requests were made for 4 students to be enrolled to Anand College and 8 students to Visakha Vidyalaya. Thereby, 21 requests have been made for 17 popular schools. I must mention that the Government Medical Officers Association had failed to submit documents before the 18th of August 2016. They surrounded the ministry and engaged in a media show making unjust demands. It is sad that the Government Medical Officers Association had brought disrepute to the profession of doctors.
A tender which has been floated for the procurement of hardware to digitize the People's Bank was debated in Parliament today.
The question raised with reference to a tender floated for the procurement of hardware as part of the digitalization initiative at the People's Bank is one that is still in process and has not been awarded. The tender has an estimated spend of $4.5 to $5.5 million over a period of 5 years. The Honourable Member raises a question about the duration of the tender period. The management at People's Bank had provided 5 days for bidders to provide responses to the RFPs. Subsequently, this was extended to 2 weeks based on a request made by one of the vendors. Furthermore, some media outlets have sensationalized this and cast aspersions about the integrity of the bank. I will also ensure that the Ministry Secretary will be engaged with the People's Bank to look into the appointment of the said 2 experts to get their opinions and to ask the Secretary to ensure that the due processes have been adhered to.
Now, as reported in the People's Bank in cover-up mode, these are Ceylon News of Sunday. You will see, I don't want to go into the matter, a whole page giving 3 directors who had objected or questioned their relevant decision and complained to higher authorities. Of this, act of violation of tender procedure. I'm only trying to ask you whether you will hold an inquiry where the relevant people will be able to come before the inquiry and lay the facts. Very clearly 3 directors had objected, and it is in black and white in the minutes.
It has not been awarded. There is no scandal involved because it's still in the process. If there were any allegations, then there is a process. You can go and make a complaint. All on a newspaper hearsay. There is no real fact. You have to come up with a complaint.
We have to be very careful because this is a tender which has not yet been finalized by the People's Bank. So when papers go and put one full page, I mean this can keep the reputation of the bank at risk. The tender process take place and then we can look at what happens.
Finance Minister Ravikarna Naik commented on the forthcoming budget in Parliament today.
The budget, which is to be presented in Parliament on the 10th of November, will reflect greater development plans of the Yahapalana government, which has restored good governance. That is the day they will be awestruck on how we are planning to take a country that was claimed to have been bankrupt forward. At this point in Parliament, we ask the opposition to stop making noise and be mindful of the crimes that were done. Give us some time to clean this mess and offer relief to those innocent citizens who are suffering. We need to build Sri Lanka according to a national policy. The first factor in developing a national policy is creating revenue. If we can get our revenue right, we can work on our expenses accordingly. We have to work in an environment where there are unlimited needs and limited resources. That is why we need to prioritize the allocation of resources among abundant needs. We are currently working on prioritizing these needs. Some people are making noise here without any sense. It's the biggest joke. What we are doing is using the opportunity to develop the country in equilibrium.
China has echoed its support to do business with Sri Lanka at the Sri Lanka-China Business Council held in Colombo last evening.
This MOU could be implemented efficiently in next 10 years. I do believe we need at least $10 billion just for the port city. You know, right now, just $1.4 billion investment. But in the future, it at least need $8 billion to invest in this city. This MOU is most important for two sides because this is a governmental one. So all the projects, investments, and the cooperation fields covered in this MOU. All the Chinese investors came here. All the projects perhaps should be joint venture. Appreciate you will persuade to improve the conditions for the business people.
With that, we wrap up Primetime News. I'm Bernadine Jai Singh.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.